Clock hits 3 and the world goes mute. Rolling up the remedy in a velvet suit. Low beams cutting through the heavy gray mist. Another mile down on a long mental list. The window cracked just an inch for the breeze. Passing ghostly silhouettes of the willow trees. Sub bass rattle at the loose change tray. Watching all the daylight tension fade away. Ash falls light like a secret on the floor. I don't look in the rear view mirror anymore. Slow motion drifting through the interstate lines. Exhaling heavy clouds under silver street signs. No destination, just a high-speed crawl. Listen to the silence till it says it all. One like you in his cabin tonight. Everything is blurry but the feeling is right. The dashboard glow is the only sign I need. Steady on the pedal, pushing back the speed. Street lamps flickering like a pulse in the dark, leaving behind every worry and every spark. My lungs feel heavy but my mind feels clear. The static on the radio is all I wanna hear. Concrete ribbons winding through the empty space, lost in a rhythm that the clock can't chase. Fuel gauge tripping toward the empty mark. A quiet king rolling over the park. The horizon is a promise that I haven't kept yet, burning down the worries and the lingering regret. Eyes wide open while the suburbs sleep deep. Promises get broken and the secrets that I keep. Slow motion drifting through the interstate lines. Exhaling heavy clouds on the silver street signs. No destination, just a high-speed crawl. Listen to the silence till it says it all. One light glowing in the cabin tonight. Everything is blurry but the feeling is right. Dashboard frozen at 3. Windows cracked open just enough to feel free. Slow burning cherry painted shadows in the cabin. Thinking about everything that ever had to happen. Street lights overhead blurring into gold streaks. High on the silence before the city wakes and speaks. Ties on a melody against the cold asphalt. Finding my balance inside of every fall. No destination, just a floating in a light. Drifting through the heavy velvet of the night.
Ash falling softly on the passenger seat. Searching for the pieces where the sky and valley meet. The silver haze is heavy, but the mind is feeling clear. Watching all the static slowly start to disappear.
One more rotation under this yellow glow. Just cruising through places where the slow winds blow. The air tastes like pine and a little bit of diesel. Threading through the darkness like a golden needle. Every red life is like a moment to breathe. Watching the smoke rise in a ghostly weave. No pressure on the pedal, no weight on the chest. Just a quiet lonely motion putting ghosts to rest. Yeah. Past the old diner where the neon is dead. Replaying every single word that you ever said. But the cloud in the car keeps the ghosts outside. Safe in the bubble of this late night ride. The moon is a sliver, just a scratch in the dark. Looking for a spark in the middle of a park. Lean back steady, let the engine just drone. The best kind of feeling is being alone. One hand on a wheel and the other in the sky. Counting every satellite drifting on by.
Ash falling softly on the passenger seat. Searching for the pieces where the sky and valley meet. The silver haze is heavy, but the mind is feeling clear. Watching all the static slowly start to disappear.
One more rotation under the yellow glow. Just cruising through the places where the slow winds blow.
sea, searching for the pieces where the sky and valley meet. The silver haze is heavy, but the mind is feeling clear. Watching all the static slowly start to disappear.
One more ovation under the yellow glow. Just cruising through the places where the slow winds blow.
Clock on the dashboard, frozen at 3. Empty expressway, just a shadow in me. Spark in the light while the city stays asleep. Windows cracked open, secrets I keep. Ash on the post street, drifting away. Fading the colors of a heavy long day. Tires on the pavement, a low steady hum. Waiting for the clarity that's yet to come. Street lamps are passing like flickers of gold. Wrapped in the stories that never get told. Exhale the pressure, let the cabin feel high. Watching the moon hanging loose in the sky. No destination, just burning the fuel. Breaking the silence, breaking every rule. Mirror reflects a stare growing wide, leaving the ghost of the burden outside. The air gets heavy, but the mind feels thin. Tracing the places where the dreams begin. Slow down the motion, let the engine breathe. Below the surface where the worries see. Cruising through the haze of a midnight gray. Watching the struggle just dissolve away. One hand on the wheel, one hand on the spark. Carving a tunnel through the quiet dark. The world is a blur with a rearview glass. Letting the weight of the moments pass. Higher than the clouds on a coastal breeze. Finding my peace with a sudden ease. The scent of the earth meets the cold night air. Running my fingers through the atmosphere. Radio static playing songs from the past. Knowing this feeling wasn't built to last. Passing the billboards with nothing to sell. Trapped in the comfort that I know so well. Fuel light is glowing like a dying star. Wondering exactly how we got this far. The air gets heavy but the mind feels thin. Tracing the places where the dreams begin. Slow down the motion, let the engine breathe. Below the surface where the worries see. Cruising through the haze of a midnight gray. Watching the struggle just dissolve away. One hand on the field, one chin on the spark. Carving a tunnel through the wide dark. The world is a blur in the rearview glass. Letting the weight of the moments pass. Higher than the clouds on a coastal breeze. Finding my peace with a sudden ease.
Clock on the dashboard, frozen at 3. Heavy haze blurring the highway scenery. Window crack just an inch for the gray to escape. Mapping my thoughts in a jagged circular shape. Tires humming a low frequency song. Left the city behind where the shadows roll home. Ash on my jeans like a dust in the snow. Watching the orange tip flicker and glow. Rolling through the silence of a midnight lane. Filtering the pressure and the phantom pain. Gravity is lighter when the cherry burns bright. Floating through the static of a deep blue light. No destination, just a steady slow climb. Breaking every tether to the hands of time. Street lamps pass passing like flickers of thought. The peace in the lungs is the only thing sought. Exhale the heavy and inhale the calm. The velvet darkness is a soothing balm. Reflections dancing on the polished black hood. Misunderstood, feelings finally understood. Lean back the seat, let the headrest hold the weight. Drifting past the exit of a locked garden gate. No siren in the distance, no pressure to arrive. The only soul breathing in the world barely alive. A ghost in the lane with a glowing green ember. Fading in the moments I won't need to remember. Rolling through the silence of a midnight lane. Filtering the pressure and the phantom pain. Gravity is lighter when the cherry burns bright. Floating through the static of a deep blue night. No destination, just a steady slow climb. Broken every tether to the hands of time. Rolling through the solace of a midnight lane. Filtering the pressure and the phantom pain. Gravity is lighter when the cherry burns bright. Flowing through the static of a deep blue flame. No destination, just a steady slow climb. Breaking every tether to the hands of time.
Clock on the dashboard, frozen at 3. Ash on my denim, drifting so free. Window cracked open, letting cold air slice. City lights blurring like melting ice. Tires humming low on a vacant asphalt. Thinking about everything that was my fault. Burning the leaf just to quiet the noise. Back in the days when we acted like boys. Heavy eyelids watching lane lines fly. Smoke rings rising toward a violet sky. Got a steady grip on the steering wheel. Trying to remember how it felt to feel. Gas station flickering under the moon. Hope I don't reach my front door too soon. Radio static caught between the frequency. Solitude drifting through the swaying tree.
The world is asleep, but I'm wide awake. Giving the pressure a moment to break. Exhale the tension into the dark. Looking for fire from a tiny spark. Slow motion drifting through the midnight haze. Losing my shadow in a velvet maze. Cloud in the cabin and geese in my chest. Letting the engine put the ghost to rest. Higher than the street lamp shining on the hood. Doing exactly what I understood. Late night cruising while the pavement slides. Underneath the blanket of the ink stained sky.
Neighborhoods pass like a deck of cards. Fences garden, all those empty yards. One more turn before I head back home. King of a kingdom made of chrome. Filtering thoughts through the silver breath. Chasing a life that ain't scared of death. Just me and the glowing ember in the dark. Leaving behind every bitter mark.
The world is asleep, but I'm wide awake. Giving the pressure a moment to break. Exhale the tension into the dark. Looking for fire from a tiny spark. Slow motion drifting through the midnight haze. Losing my shadow in a velvet maze. Crowd in the cabin and piece of my chest. Letting the engine put the ghost to rest. Higher than the street lamp shining on the hood. Doing exactly what I understood. Late night cruising while the pavement sighs. Underneath the blanket of the ink stained skies.
cherry glowing in the dark interior. City lights through the glass looking inferior. Floating down the lane while the clock strikes 4. Keep the windows cracked just a little bit more. Heavy haze clinging to my velvet seat. Feeling every heartbeat, sinking with the beat. No destination, just a full tank of gas. Watching every shadow as the silhouettes pass. Ash falls light like a gray rain of snow. Nowhere to be and there is nowhere to go. The highway stretches a black satin ribbon. Living in the space that the daytime has hidden. My lungs feel heavy but my mind feels light. Tracing out the constellations of the night. The dashboard glow is the only sun I need. Drifting through the silence at a steady speed. Slow burning, till the morning turns slow. Half-written story that will never be told. In the thick of the cloud where the air stays still. Caught in the motion of a midnight thrill. Let the smoke curl up to the fabric ceiling. Wrapped in the comfort of a vacant feeling. Street lamps flickering like a dying pulse. Nothing in the world feels bitter or false. Just the hum of the tires on the cold concrete. And the bitter smell of something herbal and sweet. My eyes are heavy red but the vision is clear. Leaving every worry in my rear view mirror. The radio is low playing something with soul. Losing every fraction of my self-control. The skyline is the jagged teeth of the town. But I'm way up high while the world is down. Thick mist swirling in the cavity of lungs. Speaking in the dialect of silent tongues. One last pull before the embers fade out. This is what the quietude is all about. A lonely voyager in a metal shell. Underneath the magic of a midnight spell. Slow burning, till the morning turns gold. Half-written stories that will never be told. In the thick of the cloud where the air stays still. Caught in the motion of a midnight thrill. Let the smoke curl up to the fabric ceiling. Wrapped in the comfort of a vacant feeling. Till the morning turns gold. Half-written stories that will never be told. In the thick of the crowd where the air stays still. Caught in the motion of a midnight grill. Let the smoke curl up to the fabric ceiling.
The dashboard clock flickers 3 a.m. Ashtrays heavy with the weight of sin. Windows cracked just a silver sliver. Watching city ghosts start to shiver. With steady haze drifting through the vents. Burning through the hours and the sins. Red lights bleeding on the damp asphalt. Moving slow like it's nobody's fault. Wrapped in the cloud of a sweet thick shade. Watching how the daylight starts to fade. My thoughts are heavy but my feet are light. Gliding through the belly of the quiet night.
Slow burning till the sky turns gray. Drifting further from the noise of day. Keep the tires spinning on the velvet road. Lightening the pressure of the heavy load. In the thick of it the world just slows. Where the quiet goes nobody knows. Just a steady breath in the hollow space. Vanishing without a single trace. Slow burning till the sky turns gray. Drifting further from the noise of day. Keep the tires spinning on the velvet road. Lightening the pressure of the heavy load. In the thick of it the world just slows. Where the quiet goes, nobody knows. Just a steady breath in the hollow space. Vanishing without a single trace.
Street lamps passing like a golden blur. Everything is softer than it ever were. No destination, just a rhythmic flow. Letting all the tangled tensions go. One more spark against the velvet dark. Leaving behind every jagged mark. The engine hums a low frequency. Setting every locked emotion free. The highway lines are a constant street. Finding all the answers that I didn't see. Smoke curling around the steering wheel. Making everything feel almost real. The stereo is playing something deep and low. Giving me the permission to move slow.
pathway to nowhere and I'm doing fine. Trading all my worries for a straight white line. Eyes getting heavy but the mind is wide. Taking every shadow for a gentle ride till the first sun cracks the horizon line. And I'm back inside this ticking frame of mind. Slow, burning till the sky turns gray. Drifting further from the noise of pain. Keep the tires spinning on the velvet road. Lightening the pressure of the heavy load. In the thick of it the world just slows. Where the wife go, nobody knows. Just a steady breath in a hollow space. Vanishing without a single trace. Slow, burning till the sky comes gray. Drifting further from the noise of pain. Keep the tires spinning on the velvet road. Lightening the pressure of the heavy load. In the thick of it the world just slows. Where the quiet goes, nobody knows. Just a steady breath in a hollow space. Vanishing without a single trace. So, burning till the sky comes gray.
Dashboard clock is frozen on a ghostly white glow. Tires humming secrets to the pavement down below. A single spark ignites the silence in the leather seat, rolling through the skeleton of every quiet street. The window cracks a sliver just to let the winter in, tracing silver circles on the surface of my skin. I'm drifting past the empty lots where memories decay, chasing down a feeling that the sunlight stole away. The heavy air is curling like a ribbon in the dark, leaving behind the pressure and the bitterness and spark. I see the city lights blurring into golden smears, filtering the static of the long and heavy years. No destination mapped upon this dusty glowing screen, just a velvet valley in the spaces in between. The engine purrs a lullaby that vibrates in my chest, finding in the motion what I couldn't find in rest. Slow down, spinning on the world tonight. All the hazy vision in the dim interior light. The weight is lifting upward with the rising of the gray, floating further distant from the burdens of the day. Let the asphalt swallow every worry left behind, in the quiet theater of a wandering mind. The street left count the seconds like a steady yellow pulse, leaving all the vanity and everything that's false. The mirrors show a version that is finally at peace, watching all the tension find a temporary release. Nothing left to prove and there is nothing left to say, just the glowing embers and the miles of highway. Traffic signals flashing to a ghost crew on the corner, walking through the shadows like a solitary mourner. But there is comfort in the isolation after glass, watching every phantom and the happy moments pass. The smoke is like a curtain drawn against the bitter cold, stories in the exhales that will never be retold. Just a phantom pilot in the kingdom made of chrome, finding in the wandering a temporary home. Slow down, sitting of the world tonight. All the hazy vision in the dim interior light. The wave is lifting upward, the rising of the gray, floating further distant from the burdens of the day. Let the asphalt wallow every worry left behind, in the quiet theater above a wandering mind. Slow down, spinning of the world tonight. All the hazy vision in the dim interior light. The waves lifting upward with the rising of the gray, floating further distant from the burdens of the day. Let the asphalt wallow every worry left behind, in the quiet theater of a wandering mind. The dashboard glow is bleeding through the dark. Quiet ignition, finding this initial spark. I pull the window down, just a narrow crack, watching the taillights fade to velvet black. The interstate is stretching out its lonely spine,
Counting every mile and every broken white line. My palms are resting light against the steering wheel. Trying to forget the way the heavy daylight used to feel. I strike a match and let the sulfur fill the air. Exhaling burdens like I haven't got a single care. The cherry embers dance against the midnight glass. Watching the ghosts of old decisions slowly pass. The street lamps flicker like they're running out of breath. The hollow silence playing checkers with the concept of death. I keep my foot steady on the pedal of this moving cage. Turning over another blank and unwritten page. Slow down the motion, let the gray clouds rise. Far away from all the prying and the judging eyes. The city is a skeleton in the rearview mirror's glass. Searching for an sanctuary that isn't really there. So let the asphalt hum a melody of cold tires. Avoiding all the steeples and the rusted telephone wires. Just a drifter in the belly of a deep indigo blue. Running from the version of the world I once knew. Slow down the motion, let the gray clouds rise. Far away from all the prying and the judging eyes. The city is a skeleton in the rearview mirror's glass. Searching for a sanctuary that isn't really there. So let the asphalt hum a melody of cold tires. Avoiding all the steeples and the rusted telephone wires. Just a drifter in the belly of a deep indigo blue. Running from the version of the world I once knew. The radio is static, but it tells a better truth than all the polished lies they fed me in my youth. A billboard for a savior peeling off the wooden frame. Nothing in this darkness even dares to whisper your name. The wind is biting sharp against my blowing fingertips. The taste of bitter paper lingering upon my lips. I pass a diner where the coffee is a stagnant cool. Played the honest man and ended up the weary fool. The clock upon the console stopped an hour ago. Nowhere left to hurry and nowhere left to go. The trees are arching overhead like ribs of some great beast. The hunger in my chest has finally ceased to feast. I flick the ash into the tray and watch it turn to dust. The machinery of living is beginning out of rust. Just the hum of the engine in the center burning glow. Moving through the shadows of the secrets that we roll. Slow down the motion, let the gray clouds rise. Far away from all the kind and the judging eyes. The city is a skeleton in the rearview mirror's gas. Searching for a sanctuary that isn't very there. So let the asphalt hum a melody of gold tires. Avoiding all the sequels and the busted telephone wires. Just a drifter in the poet of a deep indigo blue. Running from the version of the world I once knew. Slow down the motion, let the gray clouds rise. Far away from all the time and the judging eyes. The city is a skeleton in the rearview mirror's glare. Searching for a sanctuary that isn't really there. So let the asphalt hum a melody of told tires. Avoiding all the steeples and the busted telephone wires. Just a drifter in the belly of a deep indigo blue. Running from the version of the world I once knew.
Dashboard glows bleeding through the haze. Windows crack to catch the midnight phase. The engine hums a low frequency tune beneath the silver curve of the tide moon. Ash falls slow like memories on the floor. I don't look for answers in the dark no more. Just a rhythmic pulse so the white lines blurred in a quiet space where nothing needs a word.
The street lamps flicker in a steady street, drifting through the layers of a waking dream. Heavy eyelids watching as the city fades, lost inside the gravity of violet shades.
Rolling through the silence of the foreign end, searching for the pieces where the day began. Clouds of gray dissolving in the velvet air, finding all the comfort that was never there. Keep the tires spinning on the cold concrete. Everything is drifting in the passenger seat. Just the smoke of shadows in the open road, lifting every burden from a heavy load.
Rolling through the silence of the forend, searching for the pieces where the day began. Clouds of gray dissolving in the velvet air, finding all the comfort that was never there. Keep the tires spinning on the cold concrete. Everything is drifting in the passenger seat. Just the smoke and shadows in the open road, lifting every burden from a heavy load.
Traffic lights are blinking on an empty square. Scent of verbal essence in the stagnant air. My reflection mirrors back a hollow gaze. Navigation spinning in a smoky maze. No destination written on the closed screen. Just a ghost of places where I might have been. Lean the seat back further, let the world go by. Underneath the ceiling of a charcoal sky.
The street lamps flicker in a steady stream, drifting through the layers of a waking dream. Heavy eyes watching as the city fades, lost inside the gravity of violet shades.
Rolling through the silence of the 4 a.m., searching for the pieces where the day began. Clouds of gray dissolving in the velvet air, finding all the comfort that was never there.
Keep your tires standing on the old concrete. Everything is drifting in the passenger seat. Just the smoke and shadows in the open road, lifting every burden from a heavy load.
Rolling through the silence of the fallen end, searching for the pieces where the day began. Clouds are great as often in the velvet air, finding all the comfort that was never there.
Keep the tires spinning on the old concrete. Every penny shifted in the passenger seat. Just the smoke and shadows in the open road, lifting every burden from a heavy load.
The dashboard glow as casting ghosts across my leather seat. The static hum is breathing low beneath the empty street. I flick the flint and watch a cherry blossom in the dark. A tiny sun to melt the frozen silence with the spark. The asphalt ribbon stretching to the void of silver haze. I'm drifting through the liquid hours of the velvet maze. The city lights are drowning in the rearview far behind. I'm tracing every tangled wire beside a heavy mind. The window cracks just enough to let the cooler bite. A ghostly trail of gray ascends and vanishes from sight. The clock is stuck at hours that the sun forgot to claim. I'm moving through the shadows without needing any name. The tides are singing lullabies, the stones and broken glass. I watch the skeletons of trees and rusted fences pass. My fingertips are stained with cedar and the smell of pine. Mapping out the borders where the sky and earth entwine. The gravity is loosening and scrape upon the wheel. The metal fades away until there's nothing left to feel. The horizon is a curtain that I'm pulling slowly back. Writing messages of smoke against the canvas painted black. Float across the valley where the moonlight comes to rest. Keep the fire burning deep within a hollow chest. Chasing down the phantom lines and letting go the weight. Sailing through the stillness past the locking of the gate. Higher than the steeples where the quiet secrets sleep. Promises to broken stars are yours for us to keep. Turn the engine down and let the universe expand. Holding on to nothing with a steady open hand. The street lamps are like golden needles stitching up the night. I'm bathing in the amber of a flickering polite. The radio is breathing out slow and steady bass that vibrates in the marrow and the hollows of his face. No destination calling me, no maps if you explore. I've left the frantic roar behind and closed the heavy door. The fuel is getting low, but I have found a hidden flow where everything is moving fast, but moving very slow. The condensation leads upon the gas like frozen tears. I'm shedding all the armor that I've worn for all these years. The clouds are thick with honey in the scent of ancient rain, washing out the salt and slip from every tide bang. A secret world of ripples like a pebble moon stream. Somewhere on the border of a memory and a dream. The steering wheel is cold, but there is warmth inside the haze. Navigating through the wreckage of the busy, frantic day. The gravity is loosening its grip upon the wheel. The battle fades away until there's nothing left to fear. The horizon is a curtain that I'm pulling slowly back. Letting messages and smoke against the camera's train of black. Float across the valley where the moonlight comes to rest. Keep the fire burning deep within a hollow chest. Chasing down the phantom lines and letting go the weight. Sailing through the stillness, tough for locking of the gate. Higher than the steeples where the quiet secrets sleep. Promises to broken stars are yours for us to keep. Turn the engine down and let the universe expand. Holding on to nothing with a steady open hand. Float across the valley where the moonlight comes to rest. Keep the fire burning deep within a hollow chest. Chasing down the phantom lines and letting go the weight. Sailing through the stillness, tough for locking of the day. Higher than the steeples where the quiet secrets sleep. Promises to broken stars are yours for us to keep. Turn the engine down and let the universe expand. Holding on to nothing with a steady open hand.
Dashboard glow is casting shadows on the leather seat. The engine hums a low vibration underneath my feet. Rolling down the grass to let the stagnant air escape. The skyline blurred and shifted in a jagged silver shade. I flick the silver wheel and watch the orange ember flare. A heavy velvet fragrance hanging suspended in the air. The stoplights changing colors for an audience of none. Another lonely circuit since the setting of the sun. Lungs are feeling heavy while the pressure starts to fade. Moving through the tunnels in a quiet cavalcade. The street unties like pulses in a steady rhythm flow. Nowhere left to hurry and there's nowhere left to go. The asphalt is a river painted jet and charcoal gray, washing out the tension from the clutter of the day. I lean my head back slightly, let the windows catch the draft. The city looks like fiction from the forward to the aft. The friction of the rubber meets the cold and open lane. The slow release of chemicals to numb the mental strain. The world is getting softer at the edges of my sight, just drifting through the hollow I was buried in the night. Oh, extend the closet vanish in the mirror of the glass, watching all the ghosts of my ambitions slowly pass. One hand upon the steering wheel, the other in the haze, searching for a clarity inside this purple daze. The midnight is a sanctuary built to steal us far, leaving all the heavy questions trailing in the dark. Floating on the highway in a vessel made of chrome, along that winding circle that will never leave me home. The radio is static, but it fits the current mood. Beneath the overheads, a metal surface is renewed. I see my own reflection in the strophes passing by, a flicker in the corner of a tired, weary eye. There's comfort in the motion and the turning of the tide, feeding on the embers of a dying inner fire. The clock upon the console doesn't matter anymore. I'm gliding through a canyon on the urban valley floor. Silence is a luxury I finally can afford, pulling back the curtain over things that I ignore. The smoke is like a ghost that wants to linger in my head, blending by the coolness of the early morning air. I found a hidden rhythm in the kicking of the turn, watching how the paper and the dry tobacco burn. The gears are shifting smoothly as I navigate the bend, a journey with no gravity and one that shouldn't have. Friction of rubber makes the cold and open lane, a slow release of chemicals to numb the mental strain. The world is getting softer at the edges of my sight, just drifting through the hollow I that's buried in the night. Ah, extension closet vanish in the mirror of the dash, watching all the ghosts of my ambitions slowly cast. One hand upon the steering wheel, the unknown in the haze, searching for a clarity outside this purple daze. The midnight is a sanctuary built to steal a spark, leaving all the heavy questions trailing in the dark. Floating on the highway in a vessel made of chrome, along and winding circle that will never leave me home. Extension closet vanish in the mirror of the glass, watching all the ghosts of my ambitions slowly pass. One hand upon the steering wheel, the other in the haze, searching for a clarity inside this purple daze. The midnight is a sanctuary built to steal a spark, leaving all the heavy questions trailing in the dark. Floating on the highway in a vessel made of chrome, along and winding circle that will never leave me home. Extend the closet vanish in the mirror of the glass, watching all the ghosts of my ambitions slowly rise. One hand upon the inner river, the other in the haze, searching for a clarity inside this purple daze. The midnight is a sanctuary built to slow us dark, leaving all the head the questions trailing in the dark.
Yeah. The dashboard glow paints the leather in the ghost light, watching street lamps flicker then surrender to the coastline. Windows crack, just a finger with the lead the code in. Another mile marker's passing, I am barely noticing. Ice in the curb, rattling a hollow kind of melody. The city left behind is just a fading piece of memory. Ash hangs heavy like a secret on the edge of lips. Silver clouds dancing slow in the cabin as the engine dips. No destination light, just a compass in the mirror. Down the corridor of pines where the vision starts to narrow. The hum of the tide the only conversation kept through the stretches of the valley where the weary haven't slept. Slow burning embers in the dark of the interior. Gravity is shifting like the world has gone inferior. Floating through the shadows of a heavy velvet blue. Nothing in the rearview except a distorted view. Let the haze settle where the asphalt meets the sky. Just a steady motion while the hours drift on by. Street signs blurred like a watercolor running wet, chasing down a feeling that I haven't mastered yet. The whole street smells of cedar and a hint of winter rain, clearing out the clutter and the static in the brain. One hand on the wheel, guided by a silent instinct. Every thought I ever had is becoming more distinct. The moon is an anchor pulling tides across the hoods. Understand the silence like I never thought I could. No sirens in the distance, no pressure in the chest, just a rhythmic pulsing of a heart finally at rest. The flicker of the lighter is a sudden golden spark, tearing through the fabric of the all-consuming dark. Yeah, slow burning embers in the dark of the interior. Gravity is shifting like the world is gone interior. Floating through the shadows of the heavy velvet blue. Nothing in the rearview except a distorted you. Let the haze settle where the asphalt meets the sky. Just a steady motion while the hours drift on by. The clock on the console is a liar anyway. Time is just a ghost when you're hiding from the day. The smoke curls upward like a vine toward the roof. In this tiny cabin, I am finally bulletproof. Let the engine breathe, let the weary business turn. There is peace inside the fire as the paper starts to burn. Yeah, slow burning embers in the dark of the interior. Gravity is shifting like a water's gone inferior. Floating through the shadows of the heavy velvet blue. Nothing in the rear you except the distorted you. Let the haze settle while the asphalt meets the sky. Just a steady motion while the hours drift on by. Yeah, slow burning embers in the dark of the interior. Gravity shifting like the water's gone inferior. Floating through the shadows of a heavy velvet blue. Nothing in the rear you except the distorted view. Let the haze settle where the asphalt meets the sky. Just a steady motion while the hours drift on by. The dashboard glow paints the leather in the dim blue hue. Passing street lamps bleeding through the residue. I flick a match and watch the sulfur spark against the dark. One deep breath to steady every fractured mark. The road stretches out like a ribbon of unwashed silk. The moon is hanging heavy like a drop of sour milk.
I am drifting past the houses where the lucky people sleep, while I am counting secrets that I promised I would keep.
Slow motion drifting through the quiet of the lane. Exhaling all the pressure and the ghosts inside my brain. The window is a crack just to let the winter in. The haze is thick enough to cover up a dozen sins. I am moving at a pace that the clock cannot define. Just another shadow on the edge of the line. Searching for the frequency that finally feels like home. In the middle of a silence where I'm never quite alone. The rearview mirror shows the city as a fading spark. A constellation drowning in the belly of the dark. No destination is scribbled on the map upon the seat. Just a hum of rubber rolling on the empty street. The cherry glows brighter as the oxygen arrives. Thinking about the fragments of 100 different lives. I saw a fox darting through a hedge of tangled gray. He looked at me as if he had 1,000 things to say. But the engine is the only voice that speaks to me tonight. A steady drone that makes the heavy burdens feel so light. I pass the diner where the waitress counts the empty stalls. The way the yellow flickering hits the brick and mortar walls. I am a ghost in a chariot of iron and a glass, waiting for the heavy clouds of memory to pass.
The smoke curls upward like a spirit in the air. I find a hidden meaning in the way your fingers there. The gears are shifting smooth like a prayer under my breath. Living in the moment between life and little death.
Slow motion drifting through the quiet of the lane. Exhaling all the pressure and the ghosts inside my brain. The window is a crack just to let the winter in. The haze is thick enough to cover up a dozen sins. I'm moving at a pace that the clock cannot define. Just another shadow on the air cover line. Searching for a frequency and it finally feels like home. In the middle of the silence where I'm never quite alone. Slow motion drifting through the quiet of the lane. Exhaling all the pressure and the ghosts inside my brain. The window is a crack just to let the winter in. The haze is thick enough to cover up a dozen sins. I'm moving at a pace that the clock cannot define. Just another shadow on the edge of the line. Searching for a frequency that finally feels like home. In the middle of the silence where I'm never quite alone. The dashboard glows a soft electric blue.
I'm rolling windows down to let the ghost pass through. One hand steady on the cracked leather wheel, the other catching sparks that the dark tries to steal. The freeway stretches out like a velvet spine. I'm counting painted stripes to keep my thoughts in line. No destination walked upon the glowing screen, just drifting through the spaces that remain unseen.
The thick haze settles in the hollow of the door. I'm searching for the calm I couldn't find before. The city that's a blurring in a heavy golden stream. Everything is meaning like a fever dream. Slow burn until the embers turn to gray. Watching all the heavy burdens drift away. Floating in a cabin while the world stands still. Moving past the shadows on the silent hill. High above the pavement on a silver cloud. Finally the quiet feels a little loud. Wrapped in the vapor of a midnight flame. Tracing every street that doesn't have a name.
Street lamps flicker like they're running out of breath. I'm dancing with the silence and ignoring death. The air is heavy with the scent of dried leaves, the kind of peace that only lonely driveways. My heartbeat matches every rotation of the tire, quenching all the logic with a slow cooked fire. The mirror shows a stranger with a relaxed gaze, losing every worry in a static colored haze.
The thick haze settles in the hollow of the door. I'm searching for the calm I couldn't find before. The city lights are blaring in a heavy golden stream. Everything's moving like a fever dream. Flow, burning till the embers turn to gray. Watching all the heavy burdens drift away. Floating in a cabin while the world stands still. Moving past the shadows on a silent hill. High above the pavement on a silver cloud. Finally the quiet feels a little loud. Wrapped in the vapor of a midnight flame. Tracing every street that doesn't have a name. Is frozen at 3:15. There's nowhere else that I would rather be. The world outside is just a frantic mess of kids, but inside this metal box the tension disappears. Just a passenger of gravity and steady wind, leaving all the tangled webs of day behind. So burn until the embers turn to gray. Watching all the heavy burdens drift away. Floating in the cabin while the world stands still. Moving past the shadows on the silent hill. High above the pavement on a silver cloud. Finally the quiet feels a little loud. Wrapped in the vapor of a midnight flame. Haze of every street that doesn't have a name. So burn until the embers turn to gray. Watching all the heavy burdens drift away. Floating in the cabin while the world stands still. Moving past the shadows on the silent hill. High above the pavement on a silver cloud. Finally the quiet feels a little loud. Wrapped in the vapor of a midnight flame. Tracing every street that doesn't have a name.
Window crack just an inch for the gray clouds to drift. Engine idling low while the heavy spirits shift. The street lights are bleeding amber on the dashboard skin. Counting every mile where the silence starts to win. Left hand on the wheel, right hand sparking the spark. Carving out a sanctuary inside the velvet dark. No destination programmed in the glowing screen. Just the humming of the tires and the space in between. Street signs blurred like a painter left out in the rain. Tapping Asher way to numb the static in my brain. The clock on the console is frozen at 3 a.m. The world is asleep but I am breathing with them. Each drag is a bridge to a place without a name, where the shadows and the ghosts are playing the same game. The asphalt is a river pulling me toward the edge of a promise that I made on a crumbling ledge. Slow down the motion, let the haze fill the cab. Taking back the pieces that the daylight tried to grab. Floating through the intersections under yellow eyes. Underneath the heavy weight of these charcoal skies. Keep the motor running, keep the embers burning bright. Solo navigation through the hollow of the night. Everything is hazy, everything is feeling right. Lost inside the vapor of the tunnel vision light. The speakers are vibrating with the subterranean bass, washing off the memory of every crowded place. No notifications flashing on the passenger seat, just the rhythm of the breathing and the city's heartbeat. I see the reflections dancing on the wet concrete. A solitary predator on the one-way street. The smoke curls up like a question in the air. I find the answer hidden in the stillness everywhere. Slow down the motion, let the haze fill the cab. Taking back the pieces that the daylight tried to grab. Floating through the intersections of the yellow eyes. Underneath the heavy weight of these tropical skies. Keep the motor running, keep the embers burning bright. Solo navigation through the hollow of the night. Everything is hazy, everything is feeling bright. Lost inside the vapor of the tunnel vision light.
Slow down the motion, let the haze fill the cab. Taking back the pieces that the daylight tried to grab. Floating through the intersections under yellow eyes. Underneath the heavy weight of these tropical skies. Keep the motor running, keep the embers burning bright. Solo navigation through the hollow of the night. Everything is easy, everything is feeling right. Lost inside the vapor of the tunnel vision light. Let the haze fill the cab. Taking back the pieces that the daylight tried to grab. Floating through the intersection under yellow light. Underneath the heavy weight of these tropical skies. Keep the motor running, keep the embers burning bright. Solo navigation through the hollow of the night. Everything is hazy, everything is feeling right. Lost inside the vapor of the tunnel vision light.
Windows cracked just an inch for the brake light to escape. Cruising down the boulevard, losing track of time and shade. Lighter flickers in the dark, a small spark against the cold. Half a cherry glowing red, telling stories left untold. Speed I'm at is steady, but my mind is racing fast. Watching shadows of the street lamps flicker in the glass. City lights are blurring into ribbons of pale gold. Wrapped inside a heavy velvet feeling, taking hold. The pavement hums a low frequency through the floor. I don't think about the things I used to worry for. Just a static on the frequency and the way the air feels thick. Moving through the evening like a slow motion trick. Floating through the midnight with the windows rolled down. Rolling past the silent corners of this hollow town. Keep it burning steady while the world is fast asleep. Diving in the secrets that the valley likes to keep. Smooth sailing through the dark with the heavy tilted crown. Floating through the midnight with the windows rolled down. Street signs passing by like ghosts in the rearview mirror. Every breath I'm taking makes the hazy vision clearer. No destination programmed in the dashboard glowing blue. Just a path of asphalt leading somewhere far and new. Ashes out the window falling down like summer rain. Leaving every heavy thought and every ghost of pain. Engine purring softly like a beast beneath the hood. Understanding things I never thought I understood. This pavement hums a low frequency through the floor. I don't think about the things I used to worry for. Just the static on the frequency and the way the air feels thick. Moving through the evening like a slow motion trick. Floating through the midnight with the windows rolled down. Rolling past the silent corners of this hollow town. Keep it burning steady while the world is fast asleep. Diving in the secrets that the valley likes to keep. Smooth nailing through the dark with the heavy tilted crown. Floating through the midnight with the windows rolled down. Through the midnight with the windows rolled down. Rolling past the silent corners of this hollow town. Keep it burning steady while the world is fast asleep. Diving into secrets that the valley likes to keep. Smooth sailing through the dark with the heavy tilted crown. Floating through the midnight with the windows rolled down. Black face frozen at 2:45. Shadows dancing on the leather upholstery. Window cracked just a sliver for the breeze. Igniting the spark with a practice ease. The lighter flickers like a dying star. Tracing the lines of this rented car. Static on the radio, searching for a frequency. Floating in a cloud of temporary decency. Exhale slow, let the gray mist bloom. Filling up the cabin like a velvet room. Street lamps passing in a rhythmic blur. The engine hums a low steady purr. Tires humming over cracks in the lane. Washing away the grit and the grain. Headlights cutting through the thick of the dark. Searching for a place to finally park. Cruising through the haze of the midnight toll. Finding the fragments that make me whole. The city sleeps while the embers glow red. Silencing the voices inside of my head. Just a ghost on the asphalt pole. Lighting in the
the weight of the heavy load. Burning down the hours till the sun wakes up. Sipping from the bottom of a broken cup.
Past the closed shutters in the empty malls, listening to the way the silence calls. No siren screaming in the distance tonight, just the dashboard glowing with the pale green light. My pulse links up with the ticket of time, reason and logic starting to rhyme. The rear view mirror shows a path left behind. Solitude is the only treasure I find. Aromatic herb in the paper thin wrap. Map on the seat, but I'm off the map. Winking other people I used to know. Watching and fade in the rearview flow. Every breath taken is a debt repaid. Watching the memories begin to shade. The windshield is a screen for a pirate film, ruling over a quiet and hollow ground.
Cruising through the haze of the midnight cold, finding the fragments that make me whole. The city sleeps while the embers glow red. Silence in the voices inside of my head. Just a ghost on the asphalt road, lightening the weight of the heavy load. Burning down the apples till the sun wakes up. Sipping from the bottom of a broken cup.
The air gets thin as the altitude climbs, escaping the patterns of modern crimes. No destination, just a steady pace, looking for a gap in the fabric of space. One more pull before the fire died out, knowing what the mystery is all about.
The stars aren't seen and then I've been too close, dealing with the spirits I love the most. Cruising through the haze of the midnight cold, finding the fragment that make me whole. The city sleeps while the embers glow red. Silence in the voices inside of my head. Just a ghost on the asphalt road, lightening the weight of the heavy load. Burning down the hours till the sun wakes up. Sipping from the bottom of a broken cup. Cruising through the haze of the midnight cold, finding the fragments that make me whole. The city sleeps while the embers glow red. Silence in the voices inside of my head. Just a ghost on the asphalt road, lightening the weight of the heavy load. Burning down the hours till the sun wakes up. Sipping from the bottom of a broken cup.
Clock face frozen at 2:45. Shadows dancing on the leather upholstery. Light of sparks of tiny sun in the dark, leaving behind every worry and mark. Slow exhale against the windshield glass, watching all the heavy hours finally pass. Street lamps flicker like a heartbeat skipping through the industrial park. I'm slipping, tires humming a low frequency tune under the gaze of a pale sickly moon. Windows crack, just a silver sliver. Feel the night air, make my spirit shiver. The horizon is a line that I never reach. Silence as a lesson it is trying to teach. Drifting through the grid where the ghosts reside. Nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. Heavy clouds hanging in the cap of space. Time is a blur that I cannot erase. Burning bright till the cherry turns gray. Driving the weight of the morning away. Velocity slow and the vision is wide. Lost in the flow of the midnight light. Dash lights glowing in a soft amber hue. Old receipts and a scent that is new. Passing a brick and a rusted out fire. Fueling the soul with a slow burning fire. No destination required for the soul, just the momentum of being whole. Static on the frequency between the bands, taking the wheel with my trembling hands. The city is sleeping in blankets of concrete, walking the line where the earth has got me. Every mile is a page that I turn, lessons in soot that I had to learn. The horizon is a line that I never reach. Silence has a lesson it is trying to teach. Drifting through the grid where the ghosts reside. Nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. Every car's hanging in the cap of space. Time is a blur that I cannot erase. Burning bright till the cherry turns gray. Driving away where the morning away. Velocity slow and the vision is bright. Yeah. Lost in the flow of the midnight tide. Every car's hanging in the cap of space. Time is a blur that I cannot erase. Burning bright till the cherry turns gray. Driving the weight of the morning away. Velocity slow and the vision is wide. Lost in the flow of the midnight tide. Clock face frozen at 2:45. Just a silver moon and the engine for company. Tracing white lines on this asphalt skin. Window cracked a bench, let the cold air in. Big haze swirling around the steering column. Thoughts heavy and deep and a little bit solemn. The dashboard glow paints my hands in blue as I spark the fuel and look for a clearer view. Floating through the shadows on the midnight cruise, trading my heavy head for these velvet blues. The highway is a ribbon that never ends, where the street lamp glare on the darkness bends. Rolling slow while the world stays fast asleep. Got a handful of secrets that I mean to keep. Steady as the tires on my low-key tune, chasing down the ghost of a fading moon. Floating through the shadows on a midnight cruise, trading my heavy head for these velvet blues. The highway is a ribbon that never ends, where the street lamp glare and the darkness bends. Rolling slow while the world stays fast asleep. Got a handful of secrets that I mean to keep. Steady as the tires hum a low-key tone, chasing down the ghost of a fading moon. Street lights passing like a strobe in slow motion. Heartbeat steady as the tides in the ocean. Gray clouds blooming from the tip of the spark, writing my initials in the belly of the dark. No destination, just a crave for the motion. Sipping on a quiet like a magic potion. The city is a memory faded in the mirror. Every mile I travel makes the feeling much clearer. The air tastes like cedar and the scent of the pine, cutting through the static on the borderline. Everything is hazy, but it feels so right. Wrapped on the silk of a summer night. Rolling through the shadows on a midnight cruise, drifting my heavy head for these velvet blues. The highway is a ribbon that never ends, where the street lamp glare and the darkness bends. Rolling slow while the world stays fast asleep. Got a handful of secrets that I mean to keep. Steady as the bars hum a low-key tune, chasing down the ghost of a fading moon. Floating through the shadows on a midnight cruise, trading my heavy head for these velvet blues. The highway is a ribbon that never ends, where the street lamp glare when the darkness wins. Rolling slow while the world stays fast asleep. Got a handful of secrets that I mean to keep. Steady as the tires hum a low-key tune, chasing down the ghost of a fading moon. My heavy head for these velvet blues. The highway is a ribbon that never ends, where the street lamp glare and the darkness dance. Rolling slow while the world stays fast asleep. Got a handful of secrets that I need to keep. Steady as a tire hum a low-key tune, chasing down the ghost of a fading moon. Clock face frozen at the ghost hour. Ash falling soft like white powder. Broken slow through the velvet street. Tires humming to a low end beat. Window cracked, just a silver line. Tasting the fog and the heavy pine. Street lamps blurring into golden streaks. Find the clarity that everyone seeks. Leaning back in the bucket seat, escaping the grip of the midday heat. Radio playing something thick and slow. Nowhere left for the mind to go. Dashboard going like a deep sea craft. Funking back on the ways we laughed. The world is sleeping under heavy wool, while I'm feeling the magnetic pole. Slow burning through the midnight haze, counting the turns in a rhythmic maze. One hand steady on the leather rim, watching the city lights growing dim. Floating high above the pavement floor, don't need a key for the secret door. Drifting away in a cloud of gray, chasing the ghosts of the yesterday. Slow burning through the midnight haze, counting the turns in a rhythmic maze. One hand steady on the leather rim, watching the city lights grow and dim. Floating high above the pavement floor, don't need a key for the secret door. Drifting away in a cloud of gray, chasing the ghosts of the yesterday. The air is thick with a quiet grace, erasing the lines from my tired face. Beyond the bridge where the shadows been, waiting for the frantic rush to end. Just a spark and a steady breath, cheating the silence and mocking death. The fuel is low, but the spirit is light, dissolving into the belly of the night. Concrete ribbons under rolling wheels, knowing exactly how the distance feels. The scent of the herb and the cooling rain, washing away every jagged brain. Cast a turn where the giants stand, navigating through a phantom land. No more pressure and no more clocks, just the vibration of the bass and shocks. Exhale heavy as the smoke rings spin, opening up what was locked within. The steering wheel is a holy one, crossing the edge to freight beyond. Headlights cutting through the velvet dawn, looking for a single hidden spark. Pieces found in the engine hum, marching to the beat of a different drum. Slow burning through the midnight haze, counting the burns in the rhythmic maze. One hand steady on the leather rim, watching the city lights growing dim. Floating high above the pavement floor, don't need a key for the secret door. Drifting away in a cloud of gray, chasing the ghosts of yesterday. Slow burning through the midnight haze, counting the turns in a rhythmic maze. One hand steady on the leather rim, watching the city lights growing dim. Floating high above the basement floor, don't need a key for the secret door. Drifting away in a cloud of gray, chasing the ghosts of yesterday. Clock faces frozen at 3:15. The neighborhood is sleeping, but it's just me. Windows roll down, let the heavy mist flow. Clouds humming soft on the asphalt below. Asphalt slow on a worn out floor mat, chasing down thoughts where the ghosts used to chat. No destination, just a tank full of gas, watching every shadow through the tinted glass. Street lamps flicker like a dying light bulb, drowning in my haze in this velvet club. One hand on the wheel, one clutching the spark, tracing silver outlines through the hollow dark. Radio is static, but it feels like a song. Right where I am is where I belong. The engine is a heartbeat, steady and low, counting every mile as the memories go.
Slow burning embers in the dead of the night, floating on the vapor to the morning light. Wheels keep turning while the world stands still, higher than the pine trees over the hill. Clouding up the cabin with a herbal scent, wondering where all of the calendar went. Drifting through the silence on a one-way track. Once you hit the highway, there is no turning back.
The air feels thick like a heavy wool coat, wrapped in the silence of a drifting boat. No silence wailing, no people in sight, just a lonely pilot in the middle of flight. Let the gravity loosen, let the vision blur. Everything is moving in a gentle stir. The stars are just pinpricks in the charcoal sky, asking all the questions with no reason why.
Gas station neon is a blur in the rear. The path ahead is finally starting to clear. Not a soul on the shoulder, not a bird in the tree, just the sweet smell of this emerald tea. My lungs feel the weight of the secrets I keep, while the rest of the valley is buried in sleep. Lean back to see, let the dashboard go, taking it easy, taking it slow.
The horizon is a line that I never can touch,
Holding on to nothing, yet I have so much. The smoke is a ladder climbing up to the roof. Searching for the feeling, searching for the
Slow burning embers in the dead of the night. Floating on the vapor till the morning light. Wheels keep turning while the world stands still. Higher than the pine trees over the hill. Crowding up the cabin with the herbal scent. Wondering where all of the calendar went. Drifting through the silence on a one-way track. Once you hit the highway, there is no turning back. Slow burning embers in the dead of the night. Floating on the vapor till the morning light. Wheels keep turning while the world stands still. Higher than the pine trees over the hill. Crowding up the cabin with a herbal scent. Wondering where all of the calendar went. Drifting through the silence on a one-way track. Once you hit the high, well, there is no turning back.